DD News.
Well, India on Saturday reacted sharply to Nepal Parliament's move to alter its map unilaterally. It dismissed the move by Nepal to redraw the map without consultation with India. The Ministry of External Affairs said that the claims made by Nepal by passing the Constitution Amendment Bill to include parts of Indian territory is not based on historical facts or evidence and is not tenable. Taking a stern view of the move, India asserted that Nepal's action violates the current understanding between India and Nepal to hold talks on outstanding boundary issues. The lower house of Nepal's parliament on Saturday passed the second Constitution Amendment Bill to redraw its map, guaranteeing legal status for the new updated political map of Nepal, which includes Indian territories in Pithoragarh district of Uttarakhand. And for more on this, we are joined by our correspondent Amritpal Singh, who is joining us with an update. And to put it into perspective and context, we have with us Ambassador Manjeet Puri, former ambassador to Nepal. We'll begin with you, Ambassador, in fact, because this situation, I mean, Nepal, the army chief had said that Nepal was acting at the behest, perhaps, of someone else. What would you say?
Look, I can't comment on what the Indian Army chief has said, but let me make this upfront to you. Nepal is a country where the issue of nationalism is invariably linked with a kind of anti-India sentiment. Okay. Now, this particular issue came up at a particular time in Nepal's politics where there was a great deal of uncertainty regarding the seat of government, the Prime Minister. This was an old issue which was raked up. They have now released an updated map. It has gone through one of the most significant processes, that too in a special sitting of the House of Representatives on Saturday, which is a holiday here in Nepal. And look, what is being done is to, in a sense, make this whole thing kind of a line in stone. And that's what makes the thing very untenable. It should have been avoided at all costs. And considering especially the very strong and diverse ties between India and Nepal in all facets of life, and particularly among our people.
Right, but Ambassador Puri, also, I mean, the concern was that Nepal has is with this 80-kilometer road, apparently. But surely, you know, they must have been aware that this road was being constructed earlier itself. You know, on the day of the inauguration, they can't suddenly decide that, you know, this is a matter of concern.
I have no doubt that they would have known that the road was being constructed. In fact, let's understand that this is a path which we have used for years for the Kailash Mansarovar Yatris to go from India, cross over into Tibet. So the use of the path was known. We've metalled that path. They obviously must have known about it. And they must have also been preparing the map. But the timing, etc., has much to do with Nepal's domestic politics. It has much to do with what else is happening. And I'm sure some kind of encouragement would have certainly come from other quarters in the matter. But of course, I have no evidence to support that. The issue that I mentioned to you about domestic politics is very much alive in Nepal. But the important thing is that this huge relationship which binds India and Nepal, especially at the level of the people, it's a relationship which is a sacred relationship. It's a relationship which really helps Nepal. It helps India. It's a relationship which is time tested. It has geography and history on its side. And we should be very mindful of doing anything on that. And I really do believe that this is untenable and this should not have been done by the Nepalese side. And in fact, the process is still going to go on. Okay. But a very significant step in that process has already been completed today.
Right, indeed. And Amrit, you can tell us about, you know, what is the next step then, because India has reacted, and how is this going to play out? Also, this road that is being constructed is going to be useful for the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, which is, you know, which sees a large number of people every year wanting to participate in it.
Okay, Mark, first what happens next is that now that the lower house of the Nepal Parliament has passed this new map, by a voice vote in which 258 members unanimously passed this out of the 275. That means they have a two-thirds majority. It now goes to the upper house,
Okay.
which they call the National Assembly, and it has 72 hours to pass it. Now, if they pass it, and which looks like that they would, because all political parties in Nepal have lent support to it, the matter could escalate because India has reacted rather sharply to it. India has been telling Nepal that all outstanding issues that on the border question that exist can be resolved through talks, and there
Yes.
is a foreign secretary level mechanism for it as well. Remember when Prime Minister Modi had visited Nepal, and before that, then in 2014 August, and in July, the then Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj had visited.
Yes.
So the foreign ministers had put, and the prime ministers had also agreed that the foreign secretaries should talk and resolve this at the earliest. In the latest move, when Nepal had come up with this map, India had told Nepal that let the pandemic get over, let
Yes.
communities and governments respond to it, and we are open to talks. We can talk this
Okay.
out. Nepal is a friendly country, as Ambassador Puri says, and India has always been open to the issue,
Absolutely.
resolving the issue. So Nepal is basically trying to paint itself into a corner by
Okay.
taking this escalatory move. But the way forward, as India has always suggested, has been talks, because the two countries have people-to-people
Yes, Amrit.
contact, a friendly relationship. As far as the road goes, as Ambassador Puri said, that the road has always existed. I mean, there has been a path that has
Yes.
existed.
It's
Now,
been
what has
metalled.
been done is the defense minister on May 8th inaugurated a motorable road. And pilgrims have been using that road. Trade has been happening between India and China. There are various treaties that exist.
Okay.
Nepal, if it cites certain treaties of 1860, India is open to discussing all that. And
Okay.
India has consistently maintained that position that talks are the
Yes,
only way.
Amrit.
So clearly, this is an escalatory move, which is sort of unfortunate, and which, as
Okay.
Ambassador hints at, could do,
Yes, Amrit. And I'm
more.
afraid that's all the time we have for in this discussion. So I'd like to thank both Ambassador Manjeet Puri as well as Amrit Pal for those updates and crucial updates and context of those updates as well. Moving on to our next story and an exclusive conversation with DD News.